Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday morning cup of coffee. This is our third installment here on Saturday Chats. And today we have a special guest here, Matt, or AKA Slipjoint Sawyer. And he's just started his channel around a month or so ago. And he's a fireball. He's a firebrand. He's got a great channel and showing a lot of great knives and a lot of great content. So Matt, welcome to Knife Lights and Saturday Chat. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Tom. How are you doing, yourself? You okay?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Couldn't be better.
Excellent.
Couldn't be
Much
better.
better. Feeling better now. COVID's finally gone.
Yes, yeah.
I bet.
Boy, it just that the symptoms only lasted 3 or 4 days, but it just zapped the strength out of me. I had
Yeah,
no
yeah.
strength, and
My
so I finally
my
got back
parents
to
had it.
work. And
Yeah, my parents had it a while ago, and they said exactly the same thing. Like they were just exhausted for it. Luckily, touch wood, I've not had
right.
it yet, so I'm okay.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it does just zap all your energy out of you, and you're
It,
just
it, it
exhausted
sure
for a
does.
while.
It sure
Yeah.
does. Well, I am so happy to have you on the
Thank
chat
you.
here this morning. Um, you got shouted out by Patty, and I
I
think
know.
all kinds of channels just picked up on it and said, "Hey, check this one
Yeah,
out." You know,
it's gone
so
mental. I think.
tell me, I mean, it's I've been doing it for about a year and a half, um, but I remember what it was like for me when I first started, and I didn't know what to expect. So, would you care to share with the audience here? What have you learned so far in this short month about having a
Oh,
knife review channel on YouTube?
it was just absolute mental to start with. As I mentioned before, Paddy sort of got me into it. He commented on my Instagram pictures, my collection. I uploaded like a big picture I think I've got, and he just said, "Screw getting a bigger space. You want to start a channel?" And I was just like, "Oh right, if you're gonna twist my arm, I might as well get on with it." I thought, "Oh, I'll knock a video out and see what happens." And then I posted my first video. He shouted me out, and then I think with it, RJ shouted me out, and yourself. I think within sort of like 9 days, I was up to 100 subs already. It was mental.
Wow,
It
that's
just flew off.
that's amazing, and that's
Yeah,
congratulations on your new channel.
thank you.
Um, and that's one of the purposes here of the Saturday chat
Yeah, yeah.
is to meet new channels. I know you've heard me say it before. The more channels we have out there, the better it is for the knife community overall. There is no way, I'm kind of a big buck collector, some people say,
Are
but
you? Yeah,
just with the buck knives, I could spend the rest of my life trying to collect them, and I would still never get every model and every
yeah, yeah.
variation, every model. So there's no channel that's going to have it all. So
Yeah.
it's so nice to have the new channels and their knives and what they're interested in. And but even like a buck 110, there's probably 5,000 videos on the buck 110, but every channel brings their own perspective to that
Yeah.
knife.
Their
Have you
own sort
noticed
of
that?
take on it. Yeah, they definitely
Yeah.
have. Yeah, but I've seen before I got my Buck 112, I was looking at different videos and things. Like I watched a couple of yours on it, a couple of other people's on it, and each video is different, but it's got its own unique like twist on it. Like with yourself, I had all like the history behind it, which is fantastic. I love all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
All your
Yeah.
videos have got the history on. I think they're fantastic. But then
Yeah.
other people give like different perspectives, or like a couple of ones I watched them using it out in the wilderness and things.
Mm-hmm.
So you get different sides of it. And I think that's the best thing for it, really,
Oh,
because you learn from
absolutely.
each other. You
Yeah.
grow, you learn something, and then the next time you do a video, you can incorporate that into what you do and things. I think it's
Sure.
great.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I plan on. Of course, we're just getting over winter time here, and then
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully spring is around the corner. And I plan on kind of the change or little
Mm.
slight change of direction in the channel is actually get out and do more knife use
Yeah,
type
yeah.
videos rather than just the reviews. But they're all good. They're all good. So what can you share with everyone what your specific interests are in knives? Are do you go for the modern folders with the flip tabs, or do you like the traditional slip joints, or what what makes your boat float?
It's changed a lot. I know everyone says this, but it has changed a lot. I started sort of. I've always had a couple of knives and everything massive. I started with like a Victorinox climber, I think it is. My father bought me on my 21st birthday. So
Hmm.
that's 12 years ago now, so quite a while. And I carried that pretty much every day for about 10 years. And then
Right.
during the COVID lockdown, I was just like, oh, I quite like this. I wonder what else is about. And I got another one. And then
Mm-hmm.
I started looking on YouTube, and then I was like, oh, these flip knives look cool. And then I started getting into the sort of not legal to carry in the UK, but like the locking knives, with like the drop shot action, the flipper tabs, and things like that. And then I started sort of researching, like, oh, if I want to carry something outside in the UK and I don't want to carry a Swiss Army knife, what can I have? And
Mm-hmm.
then, but since then, I'd say about 2021, I've been going down the traditional rabbit hole, and I'd say 90% of the knives I buy are traditional knives. I've got
It's a
the odd, I get the odd sort of modern slip joint, but its majority is traditional.
right. It is a rabbit hole, isn't it? And it
Yeah,
is so
100%.
easy. It is so easy to get off on a tangent. Like the last couple years, I bought some buck knives, but
Mm.
I had been going for the newest, shiniest thing, and trying to do this, and I'm like, no, this year I need to get back and work on
Yeah,
filling in the holes in my buck knife. But it's so easy to go down those rabbit
yeah,
holes. So
literally.
yeah. So I do know you have a special new knife that you would like to
I do,
share.
yeah, I do. I just
Let's
got
see it.
myself the Jack Wolf knife Javelina. Just grab
Right?
it out here, and that is this.
That is fantastic.
It's sort of like a modern interpretation of a sow belly.
Right.
There's a natural
Hold
mica handles.
hold on just a minute. I'm still learning this. Let me see if I push this, if that brings your camera up.
Sure, go for it.
Let me see. Edit my solo layout.
Yeah,
There
we
it
go.
is. There,
Yeah, it
good.
worked. So
See,
yeah, I just do
an
like
old
the
dog can learn a new trick.
no comment. But see, like the fit and finish, the construction of it, obviously, as you expect, because it's mostly machine made rather than made by hand. It's fantastic, and it's got these sort of like brushed titanium sort of bolsters on it, but they
Sure.
do it always integral into. It's only really like these scales are separate. The whole everything else is like integral to it, and it's got S90V steel, so like a mega steel. But that's my first sort of ultra expensive folder. Before this, it's
Hmm.
mainly sort of not so much the budget ones, but well, it kind of depends really what sort of mood you're in, doesn't it? I mean, you look
It
for a knife
does.
and think, oh, I fancy that, but it comes with a lovely little Jack Wolf knife sheath. It comes in
Oh,
always
sure.
not always a nice little bonus. Get a nice little leather sheath,
Uh-huh.
and it comes in a little. I'll grab the tube just quickly, and I'll show you the
Yep.
artwork on the tube.
You bet.
So it comes with as well. You get this little sticker with it. It's
Okay.
this piggy ain't little no more. And then the artwork on the tin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the artwork was done by Sean Tiffany, and I believe he did some work for comic books.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but just
fantastic artwork.
but just even like the intention, like the detail on it, like it's got a pressed lid, like it's all
Right.
embossed and stuff. That's just everything with it. You get like an embossed little microfiber cloth.
Wow.
It's the amount of
Nice.
like effort and care that goes into it. You can tell that
Sure.
the Ben that's designed this has put a lot of love into it,
Yep.
and that's
Now,
one of the main things for me.
yeah. Well, it's and tell me if I'm wrong here, but I kind of view this at my age, and I'm in my early 60s. I don't know how old you are, and it doesn't matter, but I think you're a little bit younger than me.
I could
I
be.
think I think the Jack Wolf knives do something to help bridge that generation gap just a little
They do.
bit. I was
The
raised
modern
on
traditionals definitely do.
right. I was raised on your standard little imperial one or two bladed jackknife or
Hmm.
little pocket knife. And today look at what you got with all the modern folders.
Literally,
And I think you know the generations below me, people more your age, they grew up more on the modern folders, and that's what
yeah,
catches their attention. But I
yeah,
see this trend where slip joints seem to be keep are starting to make a comeback, and a Jack Wolf knife like that, a modern take on a slip joint, I think help bridges that and gets that
yeah.
interest there.
Definitely does because you keep the traditional design, but with the latest up to date materials to use.
Mm-hmm.
So you sort
right,
of get the best of both worlds. You get the aesthetic and the modern technology.
right, right. So I am kind of jealous a little bit. You're over in the UK. I don't know how far Sheffield, England is from
Not
you.
too far.
I mean, that is one of the historic,
Yeah,
through the ages, one of those very
yeah,
historic cutlery centers. And
yeah. Like Steel Central in the UK.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because um, back around what was it, the late 1700s,
Mm,
early 1800s, all kinds of cutlerers and workers came from Sheffield over here and settled around the
yeah,
New York, New Jersey area, and that kind of become the mecca here in the colonies. And well, I guess by that time we were our own country, but yeah, that's and they brought all those skills with them, and
yeah,
so
definitely.
it's a fascinating history. So
Yeah, it's the way that the trade starts somewhere and then it sort of disperses around the world, and
right,
each area has their own take on those certain skills, which is what I like as well.
yep,
You see,
yep,
like the American slip joints that were made, like 50s, 60s, 70s, similar designs to what was made in Sheffield and things like that, but their own, distinct take on it.
right. Now, I'm not going to ask you if you've decided on a favorite pattern because when I get asked that, there's no way. It's just
It
a
depends
lot
what
of
day
my
you ask.
times my answer is the pattern I'm holding in my hand at the time.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah,
favorite.
yeah.
But so I'll just ask, are there certain patterns or certain aspects of certain knives that you've kind of been drawn to that kind of piqued your interest and you want to know more
Um,
about?
the Barlow, mainly for like the British history with it.
Oh, sure.
Like, yeah, it's just everything about the Barlow pretty much speaks to me. My grandfather had a load of those. I've got a couple of those I need to clean up first before I get them out, but they're old ones. Um,
Yep.
I recently started getting into like the Stockman and the TK. I'll tell you all about them, but the Sow Belly Stockman, that's his fault. I've started buying loads of those. I'm not sure what it is about the Stockmans. I don't know if it's the blade layout or just the utility of it, but you've got a knife for everything.
Well, do
But
you kind of know the story behind the Stockman?
not the full story. No.
Well, well, of course, we had a civil war here in the 1860s, and both the North and the South were needing weapons, and they were needing knives and swords and everything like that. So a lot of cutlery was made there in England, and they sold it to both sides, both to the Union and the Confederacy. Well, the war ends, so now all of a sudden, what are we going to make for the export? And so the way I've heard it told was they actually sent people over here to try to figure out, what kind of knife can we make to sell to the
Mm,
American market now. Well, the West was expanding, and the big cattle ranches and things like that were expanding, and they kind of come up with this three-bladed knife. Originally, I think the cattle knife came first, and then what we
yeah.
know as the Stockman. And so it's my understanding it was kind of a way to find their way back into the American market, so they
Yeah.
had something to sell to them
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
war had ended. So
Yeah. We can't supply you with swords anymore, so can we sell you this?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So well, time goes fast, and I forgot to set my timer, but I've been trying to keep these to around 30 minutes. I think we have maybe 5 or 10 minutes left. So
Oh yeah.
I just want you to talk about your channel. Again, back to your experience. Let me ask this. What do you think about the response by not just other channels, but just the viewers and subscribers in general? What do you think of
Oh,
the knife community?
the way that everyone sort of like bands together. There's no sort of like um no one seems to like hate on certain channels because they do certain knives. It's all like, I appreciate your video and the effort you went to make it. So
Hmm.
thank you for showing us. Even though I don't like your knife, that
Right,
doesn't matter to me. It's the like the sort of the group love between everyone and how we all sort of respect each other, and it's more like respecting the content than what the content is, if that makes
right.
sense.
It does. Yep.
Everyone sort of like steps up and they're just like, I got a couple of subscribers who come on every video I put through, like Mike Curtis, who was in RJ's live the other
Doesn't
day.
he do that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, Retro Stu is another one. He's always commented on my stuff, but they're just so supportive. And they're like we love your content. Please, can you make more?
Yep.
I've got a couple of shorts up. I did one of the Stoneworks Congress, which I made a video about today. And one of the boys commented saying, "Can you make a full video of this?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure, no worries." Put one up today. It's just the way everyone sort of bands together, and it is, for lack of a better word, it is a community, isn't it? Everyone,
It is. It really
it's like
is.
we're all in it together rather than we're all trying to battle against each other for the top spot, which is nice.
Yep.
I love that. And you all feel like you're going through it together rather than, I'm raising a channel, you're raising a channel on RJ or whatever. But it's nice that we're all sort of together doing it at once.
Hmm. Absolutely. Now, I do have a problem, and I blame people like you. I have a YouTube channel to produce content for, and I get busy watching your videos, and I don't get my work done. So I'm holding you personally
I have
responsible
I
there,
have
man.
I have the same problem.
I, it's been winter time, and there's not a lot of outdoor stuff you can do, especially when hunting season's over. January, February, March are kind of the blah times
Yeah,
because
yeah, same here. It's always like
it's
cold, wet,
too cold
rainy.
and nasty to get out.
Yeah,
Yep, there's not much October outdoor activities to do, and you got a lot of time to watch YouTube videos,
yeah,
and I can't
100%.
keep up even with this extra time. I'm worried about this summer. There are just so many great channels such as yours coming out with such great
Thank you.
content, and to keep up with them all is what a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, I know it's a horrible problem, but it's a
It's a
brilliant
horrible.
problem. Yeah,
I like that.
which everyone has their own take on certain stuff. Like if I want to watch certain, if I want to see like knife history, like I go to your channel. If I want to watch Paddy say the wrong blade steel, I go to his channel. But
There you go.
yeah,
Oh, I've really gotten to know Patty pretty well, and oh, what a jolly Irishman, I say.
he is. He's
Yeah,
he's a
just
fantastic guy.
just fun. Love interacting with him on
Mhm.
RJ's lives, even though he
Yeah,
gives me the devil all the time. But
that's what he's about, though. That's the Irish.
I know it's all in fun. It's fun. I tried to dish it back to, throw it back to him. So, oh,
It's good. I love like the banter between everyone as well. It's fantastic.
yep, yep. So, did you get a new channel sticker then? Did
I
you
did,
say?
yeah. I just grabbed one here. So I recently just had these made up. So it's just my logo, but big. I tried to get it as good quality as possible.
Sure,
I've got
sure.
quite a few of these come in. So
Yep,
there is one on its way to yourself, and there's one on the way to RJ,
yep.
just so we can
That's
do like
terrific.
just sort of spread the love really and get
Yeah,
everyone noticed.
yeah.
So I think that's
That
a
is.
I think it's a pretty I think a pretty decent job.
I think
Not
so.
not
That's
not bad for someone who's awful with computers, really.
right, right. No, that looks great.
Thank you.
Yep, yeah, it looks great. I look forward to getting it.
Oh, hopefully the Royal Mail will post it at some point in the next 4 months, and you might get it
Yeah,
eventually.
you've been having a real mail problem
Oh,
over there, haven't you?
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's like even getting my Jack Wolf knife was coming from a UK company, literally just across the border, and it was dispatched on the 13th, and then on the 15th they tried to deliver it to the wrong address, and then I had to go and collect it then on Friday from the depot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they have. I think they're either really, really understaffed, or I, I,
Yeah,
I can't
that
think of
could
anything
be.
else.
I do have kind of a question. I don't know if you can
Go
answer it
for
or
it.
not. I'm not good at the dollar pound conversion rate, but the cost of cutlery, like your pocket knives and that, is there
Mhm.
kind of a standard markup, like they're always about 20% more than what they'd be in the US, or always about 30% more, or is there?
I think it depends because we can get sort of. I've seen like the Boca Barlow slip joints and stuff on Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and they're an extortion amount on there. They're like $130, which is
Hmm.
about £120, £115. But we can get those in the UK at certain places, maybe like £80, which is maybe $90.
Oh,
So I think
okay,
it
but those,
works. Certain brands sort of work both ways. But
so
then
those are
other
brands.
other brand, yeah. because
Those are
those,
being imported from Germany, right?
yeah, correct, yeah,
Okay, so you're cutting out the middleman and you're
yeah,
getting
yeah,
them directly from Germany.
yeah,
Okay, so that would make sense. But
yeah.
like,
But then certain things like the old timers, I got the old timer 858 OTB. It's like the lumberjack Stockman.
mm-hmm,
That that was, I remember RJ saying it may be like a $25 knife, something like that. I think he said he paid for it. Over here, I had to pay like £35 for it, which is probably about $50 knife.
okay,
But it all depends on sort of like the area, how far it's had to get here.
sure,
Um,
sure.
the classic UK tax.
Yeah, you have that value added tax, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So anyway, well, Matt, a half hour goes by really
it
quick.
flies by.
It's been very enjoyable. For
Thank you for
everyone
having me.
watching this, please go over to Slipjoint Sawyer's YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. And for his channel and all the other channels, when you're there, hit that like button, leave a
Yeah,
comment.
please do.
I'm sure you enjoy reading the comments like I do there, Matt.
100%. I love it when
Yeah,
I get a comment. It pops up on my phone. I'm thinking it just makes you feel really good. Someone's taken the time to not only watch what you put out, but to comment and ask you questions about it.
well, and you hit the point there that I should have made earlier is with all of these great channels out there, when someone takes the time to sit and watch your
Mm.
video and then the extra effort to leave a
Yeah,
comment and a
literally.
like and to subscribe, that really does mean a lot because
That's exactly it.
there is a lot of competition out there, and that's a good thing. That makes us
Yeah,
all better for one,
100%. Definitely
So
does.
I just want to congratulate you again. You're
Thank you
doing a
very
great
much.
job. For the viewers, for those of you watching, please leave a comment. From what I know, 30 minutes seems to be a good length of time for these videos. Please leave any suggestions on how we can make these better. And Matt, once again, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you.
Thank you, Tom.
And I thank you for jumping in at the last minute
Of
here so
course,
we could
no
get this
problem.
recorded.
Not a problem.
Okay, we'll talk to you later then, Matt.
Speak soon.
You bet.